Lag B-Omer. First we'll start with halacha. We're all knowing in Spira, and we know the minhag of Ashkenazim at least is that Lag B-Omer we get a day off day, you know. Sameach, we take haircuts, we do chasanas. So the question is, first of all, what are the parameters of Lag B-Omer? When does it begin? When does it begin? When does it end? The night before, the night after. This year we have a special heter this year. Lag B-Omer comes out on Sunday, and so one could take a haircut to L'Kavod Shabbos. One could take a haircut to L'Kavod Shabbos because it's not proper. You should go to Shabbos without a haircut and then Lag B-Omer with a haircut. Others had an interesting svara, some sperm that the reason lahakal was because the barbershops are closed on Sundays. Sundays is your maidam, right? They're still closed, so you can't get a haircut like B-Omer. You can only get it on Friday.
Not if they're Italian.
What?
The Italians are closed on Monday.
Italians are closed on Monday. Yeah. So anyway, so that's the
church on Sunday. Is it after Chatzos on Friday, or we can do it on Friday?
It's all day Friday. You can't do Chatzos in the morning. In the morning. So that's a heter this year, a special heter this year, at least for haircuts or hachanas for Shabbos. But music is still, and simchas we don't make. It's still the day is Lag B-Omer. So the question is, when does it start? The night, or is it in the day? So the first needin is, when do you keep spira? So in other words, those that keep spira the first half, call it the first half and the second half. Mishabura here, Mishabura brings down. There's about 4 or 5 different manhagim, but the ikar 2 manhagim of the first half and the second half. The concept is to have 33 days of svira. The question is, what happened Lag B-Omer? They stopped dying on Lag B-Omer, so then after Lag B-Omer should be finished. The Vela should be over. The Talmidei Rabbi Akiva stopped dying on Lag B-Omer. Shalom the Gemara. The Gemara says they went from Pesach until Atzeres. The Gemara says Price Atzeres. Price could mean halfway, which could be Lag B-Omer. Until Lag B-Omer. So Shalom, if they died the whole Svira, they only died until Lag B-Omer. Whatever the case is, the minhag is to keep 33 days of Svira. So if you do the first half, the 33 days are over, the Omer starts right away. We have a heter, a heter during Chol Hamoed. But the 33 days starts right in the beginning. You're allowed to be Mesamech. But a kapanim, the Omer starts right in the beginning, and the 33 days ends on Chol Hamoed. Ends on Lag B-Omer. So the 33 days end on Lag B-Omer. So the heter of the Ashkenazim, Sfardim keep till Lamed Daled. They don't have Lag B-Omer. They keep till the some Sfardim keep till the 34th day. They don't keep Lag B-Omer. As I say, straight in Mechaber. The Mechaber says it's till the 34th day. But the Ashkenazim go mitzvah hayom kekulay. Part of the day is like a whole day, like Avelis you have, right? You said 7 days of Avelis. So 7 days of Avelis, not 7 days, it's 6 days and a little bit. Mitzvah hayom kekulay is a day of Avelis. So on Lag B-Omer we do the same shtick. We do mitzvah hayom kekulay, and then we could be Mesamech on the rest of the day because of the simcha. We'll see soon of Hashem Mordechai. Because of the simcha, so we do Lag B-Omer, we do mitzvah hayom kekulay. And then, so if that's the case, so it's pashut that the night before you can't have any heter. The night before, Lag B-Omer doesn't start till you have a mitzvah hayom. Mitzvah hayom is always in the morning. You have a mitzvah hayom, then you could do all the haircuts. So if someone didn't take a haircut Erev Shabbos, for example, so Mustafa Motzei Shabbos, he can't take a haircut. He has to wait till, if he's there, he'll have to wait till Sunday morning in order to mitzvah hayom.
So no music, Motzei Shabbos.
No, because on Shabbos, according to this, according to this sheet, if you hold the first half, if you hold the first half, l'chayra comes out, you need a mitzvah hayom kekulay, so you go until.
If you hold the first half, and you have this avails for 33 days, you obviously don't have it during the final days of Yom Tov.
Because that's a heter.
So do you add them on?
No, you don't add it. According to this minute,
we don't really hold
there are those that do.
Days.
There are those that do, but we don't. I mean, those that keep the first half. Those that keep the first half count 33 days until Lag BaOmer, and the days that we weren't allowed to have Avelis on Chol Hamoed, okay, you can have Avelis. But the rest of the days you keep up to Avelis until 33 days.
That's why some people start with Rosh Chodesh.
Yeah, some people start, the second sheet is, the second minhag is to do the second half, which we call from Rosh Chodesh year. Now, Rosh Chodesh year until Shavuos, from the second day of Rosh Chodesh until Shavuos is 33 days. So that should be 33 days, not including Lag BaOmer, is 33 days. Now, there's another issue right before Shavuos, Shalosh Me'akbola, some people don't keep. But Al Kapanim, we're not counting, we'll count that, the Mishabura counts that as part of the 33 days. So we're counting 33 days from Rosh Chodesh here until Shavuos. So Lag BaOmer is not included. So if Lag BaOmer is not included, so then Lag BaOmer is not, the night is also not included. So many poskim hold, okay, the night's not included, so even Lag BaOmer by night could be counted. So if you hold the second half, there's reason to be mekel that the night also you'll have to have Lag BaOmer. Anyone keep the second half?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The second half, there's reason. Befrat, there are many people that keep the whole thing. What happened? There are many people that keep the whole thing. If you keep the whole thing, you keep the whole thing. So if you keep the whole thing, for sure, you have 33 days. The reason to keep the whole thing is because you want to get 33 days of Avelis. But you have 33 days without Lag BaOmer at all. So the B'yashiv and others hold it. You don't have to count even at night. A Mendel can party at night. You can make a Malava Malka with music.
You'll be the only one there, but enjoy.
So is that the Erev of Lag BaOmer as well as the going into the next day?
Oh, we'll go into the next day in a minute. But we're talking about the beginning.
The
so the shah will be, let's say someone wants to make a chassan at night, or someone wants to have, whatever simcha at night. So it would depend l'chayra on what his minhag is. If his minhag is the first half, it would be quite difficult to find a heter. If his minhag is the second half, it could be
a heter if Lag BaOmer falls on Thursday night. On Friday night, you can't make a wedding. So Thursday night.
Lag BaOmer falls on Friday, you mean?
Friday, right. So Thursday night, allowed to make a wedding.
Thursday night, because you can't do on...
you can't do Friday night.
You can't do Friday, so you only could do Thursday night. Okay, I'm not sure, yeah.
I know for sure, because I got married on Lag BaOmer.
You got married Lag BaOmer night the night before?
Thursday night. I got married Thursday night.
I don't think it ever falls out on Friday.
Sure it did. On my wedding
Fell out
day.
on Thursday or Friday?
Friday night?
Friday.
Thursday night, Friday.
Thursday night, Friday.
Yeah, I'm saying Friday night.
You got married Thursday night.
Whatever.
Okay, interesting. Al Kapanim, that's now what about the night after? What about the night after?
There's no shiloh.
There's no shiloh.
To get married? Or what? Oh,
You get married. People get married on Lag BaOmer. The chassan that doesn't end by shkia.
Once
You ever saw a chassan on Lag BaOmer?
This is the one for people who hold the second one. So that'll go then.
Either half. You hold either half. Now I'm getting married on Lag BaOmer, let's say. Day.
I go over day.
I make the chassan. I call it for 6 o'clock. Shkia is at 8:30. I do the chuppah before shkia. But they're getting stripped down with the music. Everything's happening at night. Huh?
But you could continue from the simcha.
You got to pay the bills. That's not for the second. Everyone else is
No.
They even pay
It is a heter. Even if you keep
If you were
second day,
saying-
if you go to the wedding.
It's the same thing as Rosh Chodesh. If you started the meal during Rosh Chodesh during the daytime, at night, if you go into the thing, say Al V'Yava, don't you?
So if you started the Suda at night in the day, you're right. If I started the Suda in the day, so then l'chayra you could be mamshach into the night. The shaila is, many times you'll do the chuppah in the day, but the Suda won't actually start until the night. Then you run into a bigger issue, because the Suda is not actually starting until the night time. So if you hold the first Svir, it's not a problem. Svir is over. Svir is over at night. If you hold the second Svir, it's not as simple, because if you hold the second Svir, so the night already is
Isn't today we hold that the weddings are one-shot deal? It's not like the olden days that used to be chuppah is one
no, that's
day.
chuppah in the Surah, that's chuppah in Kedushin, but the chuppah in Kedushin is done under the chuppah. After the chuppah, they're married. After the chuppah, it's over, they're married.
The Suda is taking place always afterwards. Today's minhagim is...
Yeah, but the Suda is a separate thing. The Suda is just a part. It's nothing to do with it. The chassan is over, they're married. No party, yeah, party, they're married, it's over. Now we just have the Suda for it. So the Suda is happening at night.
And the Sheva Brachas doesn't count as anything?
Counts. You can make Shabbat Brachas the whole week, but you can't make
No, I
you can't
understand.
make
No, but I'm saying
music and dancing and simcha and yeah. So that's a good question, you know. So Shiloh, what to do? What to do? It's always better to start the Suda earlier. Start the Suda before midnight. You don't have the problem. Or you take the first minhag, you know. That's a big Shiloh. And Moshe holds that
You can switch.
you could switch the first minhag. Hagam that by us was we had a Shiloh. One of my sisters getting married, and we had reason to want to not push off the wedding till after the whole sphere. We keep the first half, and the Shiloh was to do it in the Shiloh was to do it before the
Rosh Chodesh.
before Rosh Chodesh. So we called him David Feinstein, the son of Moshe Feinstein.
Yeah.
Called him David Feinstein, and he was adamant that no chance, can't do it.
Really?
Can't switch it for chasana, and we don't do such a thing, and you can't do it before Lag BaOmer. You can't make a chasana.
His father took the opposite position.
But is it after
Not
that
so
only
simple.
allowed
In other words, even his father, first of all, was a Shas Chak, and believe me, he knows his father's chuvas. Well, that's why we called him. We called him.
What was the?
You have to look at Rav Moshe's tshuva. You know, people quote things
Yeah,
freely,
it's not true.
but it's not so simple. The whole tshuva is even in the
I thought
tshuva
it was
itself.
about a wedding.
Yeah, it was about a wedding.
Specific wedding.
Yeah. No, it's not so simple. That the ikar, you have to remember the ikar sphere is for weddings. This music and everything else is just to add on things. That was add on. The ikar halacha has been again soon. Anyways, he didn't approve of it, so that was that. But you have to ask a shayla on this again. I don't think this island's noyeg. It's very rare you'll have a chasana, I think, before Rosh Chodesh. It was not noyeg, so it's like a makam shenogu not to do a wedding before Lag BaOmer.
Happened this year.
Before Rosh Chodesh?
On Rosh Chodesh.
Maybe on Rosh Chodesh.
No, on Rosh Chodesh.
Now on Rosh Chodesh.
Wait, didn't Mati Gasman have a wedding?
Yeah, on Rosh Chodesh.
On Rosh Chodesh. On Rosh Chodesh is a big issue. It's a big issue if it's a Tarti the Sasri on Rosh Chodesh, if you could take off on Rosh Chodesh. It's also a big shower. He did it when? The first day Rosh Chodesh, probably.
Wednesday,
Yeah.
what was it?
First day.
Yeah,
First
still
day.
in
First
this-
day is still before.
still in this
Still
one.
before, yeah. Anyways, ask a Shiloh. Just giving the parameters of the halacha here. So Akopanim, that's the Shiloh if you hold the first year. But Maisa, the Cheshbon doesn't work out again because we keep the Gimel Yimei Hagbola. Even those that keep the second half, the Gimel Yimei Hagbolas, they keep Daig Simcha already. So you don't really have 33 days. But I guess that's like Chol Hamoed, which is really accounting
What
the
about if
Svira
you-
until Shavuos, but there's a...
If you keep till the day up, that would be fine.
if you keep the day of, you have 33 days, yeah.
If you keep it till Erev Yom Tov, it's fine.
Yeah, then it's 33.
Sitting
So
holds
it's
till
noig
Erev
already.
Yom Tov.
Yeah, there are, there are those that are noig like that, but generally we keep... So the question is like this, okay, that's for the halacha, that's not relevant for Lag BaOmer. They used to ask, and someone asked Amira, no, what do you do with Lag BaOmer? He says, Lag BaOmer? Reflect Salem Svira. We can't Svira Soimer. What do we do Lag BaOmer? But literature, you know. But today it became a whole Yom de Helula by the Hasidim, Kabbalim. It was a big thing on the Lag BaOmer to make the party and simchas and the shaila is what's the source? Where does it come from? Where does it come from? What happened? What happened on Lag BaOmer? So Aleph, maybe it was the day they stopped dying, depending on the girsas. If they stopped dying by Lag BaOmer, it was finished. Maybe it was the day they stopped dying. Depends on the girsa of the Gemara. Could be the Talmidim died all the way until Shavuos, so it wasn't even the day they stopped dying. If it was the day they stopped dying, okay, we understand the reason for a simcha.
But I thought the simcha was because the Rabbi Shimon asked that on his day that it should be a simcha.
Could be. We
That
have
was
to see where this comes from. We have to see. Let's see what the source is. But I'm saying if the reason is because it was Yom Shapasku Milamos, first of all, there's no negative. You know, they stopped dying, but I guess for Simcha they stopped dying, but it's not a positive thing happened.
But 33 days, I think
The
it's simcha.
families with the simchas at that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Doesn't sound like a very
22,000 people. They say maybe if the Xavier should have been
About this party.
those that were saved, those that didn't die, who was left? Five. No, that was later. They found 5 later. He went to
Nobody's left.
Yeah. So Rabbi Kiva himself, maybe he was Nitzel. Kiva himself. Okay, so the question is, there's a different shilos. What happened? You know, we say it's Yom the Hilula of Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. So there's a steer in the Chidah. Chidah brings down at one place that Lag B'Omer was taka the Yom the Hilula. The day of Shimon ben Yochai was nifter. Make a Yom the Hilula. No, why? We make a Yom the Hilula. And in the Sefer Meir Be'etzba, he says Yom the Hilula. But in the Birkei Yosef he says. This is brought actually from Mordechai Vital, that he was nifter on Lag B'Omer. But he says like this. He says that Lag B'Omer Yom Simchas Rav Shimon Yochai v'loy bo b'piv loy mashu. Mordechai Vital's son says it's a mistake. His father never said that it was the Yom Patiris of Shimon Yochai. It's just, it wasn't his day. It was a Yom Simchas of Shimon Yochai, but it wasn't the day that he died. So what was the special day of Lag B'Omer? So there are a few different things that might have happened. Maybe the day he came out of the Ma'ara, we'll see the Gemara in a moment, the day he came out of the Ma'ara, and he was Mefarsim, the Torah, I guess the Torah HaKabbalah started that day. Also, it's brought down as the day that Rabbi Akiva started teaching the 5 Talmidim. So that's also a simcha. In other words, the whole Avelis is because the 22,000 Talmidim died, and the simcha is that he started teaching to the 5 that one of the 5 Talmidim was Rav Shimon ben Yochai, right? Rav Shimon, Stam Rav Shimon the Gemara is Rav Shimon ben Yochai. One of the 5 Talmidim was Rav Shimon ben Yochai. So this is.
I didn't say that they found the 5. I mean, they were around all the time when he was teaching, right? He said they found them. What
does that mean? Until he came to them. Maybe it was a different city. I don't know. I don't know what the Gemara means. It's the Lashon Gemara. Until he came, the world was in destruction. There was no Torah in the world until Rabbi Akiva came to the Talmidim Shabadarim and taught them.
They weren't in the first set.
They weren't in the first set. That's what it seems. They weren't in the first set. It seems that they weren't in the first set.
Imagine what was lost. If they weren't in the first set, imagine what was lost.
Yeah. So, it's an interesting thing. Wow, 22,000 Talmidim. They all died, and they were left with 5, and our whole shas, our whole bookshelf here is coming from those 5 Talmidim. Imagine how many walls and walls of story we have from 22,000 Talmidim.
That's 24.
That's 24,000. I'm sorry, 24,000. Yeah, 24,000 Talmidim. So you can imagine that's our Olam Sham. You can imagine what Avelis is. But then he came to them, and that was that. But Al Kaponim, Rav Shimon Yochai was the one that he was a Talmud from Akiva. It's Yidua that Rabbi Akiva was just like Moshe Rabbeinu was the Rosh HaMasayis of Torah Shebiksav. Rabbi Akiva was the Rosh HaMasayis of Torah Shebal Peh in Golus. Golus really started in that Kufa, and the Torah Shebal Peh really started coming out in that Kufa. All the Mishnayos start from the Kufa of the second Bayis, the end of the second Bayis, the Tanakh, the Hillel, and on. It was all the Tanoim and the Mishnayos. And from that period until after the Churban, and then we have the Gemara. So that was the beginning of the Tkufa of the coming out of the scholars of the Torah Shebal Peh. This needs our explanation by itself. This is a sugi by itself. What the 2 time frames are? Why we call them till before the Churban Abayis, before that Tkufa, we call it a Tkufa of Torah Shebiksav. And after that Kufa, it's a whole new world. It's a whole new world. It's a whole new Torah. We go with the Kufa Torah Shebal Peh, and the reason is, part of the reason is because the period before was they had Nevuah. They had Nevuah. Now you learn the Rambam in Akdama, you'll see Nevuah can't paskin the Torah al Nevuah. That's the Rambam, but maybe Taisagis. But come on, that's the Rambam. but it was it's a different type of learning. In other words, it was everything was open and clear. Torah Shabbat means you open a book and you read it and it's clear. You know it. Moshe Rabbeinu, everything was mamash everything was so clear that he understood everything with the crystal clear, exactly what the Rebbe Shalom said. This is Torah Shabbat. So a person wants to know what the halacha is. He goes to learn, and it's open, it's clear. Everything is open. There was a time of Nevuah, meaning that the Scheiner was with us in Eretz Yisrael, in the Beis HaMikdash. Everybody came oil regel, and they joined the Simchas Beis HaShaleva. And it says, what were they drawing? Water. They were Shoyev Ruach HaKodesh. Everybody was Shoyev Ruach HaKodesh. That's what they do. They came, and they everything was clear. Or there was no questions. As the generations went on, and we're not in Eretz Yisrael, so the clarity is not here. We started having machloikis. Where was the first machloikis? In the Zugais, Shami Hillel, it went from six machloikis to the Talmidim Beisham Yisrael was already hundreds and hundreds of machloikis. So in one period, the period of the fire of Torah Shabbat Peh happened then when things weren't so clear. When you're in a dark room and you light a fire, all of a sudden, boom, it lights it up. But you put a fire outside, you don't see any light from it. So Torah Shabbat Peh, the koich of Torah Shabbat Peh, is in a period when things are fuzzy, things are darker, things are confusing. You know, people don't know as much. So then you have the fire and the arguments and the Beis Medrash fall, people screaming at each other. That's the Riska Doraisa, that's Torah Shabbat Peh. And this is what we call pilpul. They have to bring proof, and he has to bring proof like, what do you have to bring proof? We know everything. You only bring proof when you don't know something. So Torah Shabbat Peh, the koyach of Torah Shabbat Peh is when there's a missing knowledge, when you don't have the open. That's why the Gemara says, I'm off topic here, but that's why the Gemara says that Moshe Rabbeinu, when he wanted to give the Torah, so he comes up to Shemayim, and Hashem shows him all the generations, and he sees Rabbi Akiva is giving shir, and the Gemara says, Lo Yoda my Ka'amah. Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't even know what he's saying. He doesn't know what Rabbi Akiva is saying. So it's Chol Shadaite. Until he heard Rabbi Akiva say, and this is halacha l'Moshe Sinai. So, what's going on? So Rabbi Tzadok HaKohen explains it as this way. In other words, that Moshe Rabbeinu, with his clarity, there was no makom to get involved in all the arguments back and forth to try to build a point, because everything was clear and open. I explained it once. Sometimes you ever heard of getting blinded by a car? At night, all of a sudden the headlights are shining at you and you're blinded. You're blinded. Why are you blinded? It's light. You see everything. The reason you're blinded is because you can't see behind the light. Everything is clear. So if you want to be able to see behind the light, you have to make it dark, and then you can see in the distance. Torah Shabbat Peh is getting to understand it. Sometimes it has to be a little darker. If it's too light, too bright, it's the same thing, by the way. It's the same thing with the blinding light of Chachma Chitzonis. We call it the Chachma Chitzonis. Chachma Chitzonis is, in today's world, we call it science. People are so blinded by knowledge, and there's so much Chachma and knowledge of science and molecules and what's going on out there in all areas, that you're blinded by it. What does it mean you're blinded by it? All you see, the morale says this, all you see is the outside. You don't see the depths, what's going on behind it. It's in all areas. It's in science, it's in politics, and everything. You see, you're blinded. You're blinded by light. Well, Pasha, blind by light. It's so light in here that the Chachmei HaGemara were able to see things in its source. This is a concept of Torah Shabbat Peh. And the reason why it's important to understand this is because when we get to Reb Shimon ben Yochai, Reb Shimon bar Yochai was the Torah Shabbat Peh of Torah Shabbat Peh, which is, we call it Kabbalah. Kabbalah, obviously, it's not for everybody, and not everybody has the Messiah how to learn it. But it's
Clarity.
What?
Clarity.
It's clarity, but it's clarity. It's deep down behind. It's
clarity hidden.
Yeah, that's what Torah Shabbat pants. Shimon Ben Yochai is one of the Talmidim of that. It's even deeper. That's Shimon Ben Yochai. Just to give you an idea, a glimpse, and just like today, there's no question that after the Arizal brought out Torah's Kabbalah, and then it was Nistam again until others brought it out. Until you had Ramchal, and you had different kufas of coming out of the Torah Kabbalah. And today there are people learning it all over the place. There's no question that it's only today you have it, because the more we get involved in more tumah and darkness and see what's going on out there, so you have more. I say this joke over. I don't know if it's a joke, but I say this joke that said over that Rabbi Chaim Soloveitchik came up. Rabbi Chaim developed a Mahalach Halimut. All the yeshivas are using today. The Mahalach Halimut was developed basically by Rabbi Chaim's genius. Rabbi Chaim started a whole new way of learning. And there's no such thing as a world. Yeshivas today are far different than they were before, because the style of learning is very much based on the lumdus that was sort of directed by Rabbi Chaim Soloveitchik. Now, the joke is, Rabbi Chaim wrote a sefer on the Rambam, right? So Rabbi Chaim comes upstairs after 120 years, and he meets someone, so what did he say, Chiddush? So he says Chiddush and the Rambam. And that person starts arguing, a stop shot, and argue back and forth. So Rabbi Chaim asks him, who is this fellow? Well, that's the Rambam. That's the joke. But the pshat is like, the pshat is like Moshe Rabbeinu Rabbi Akiva. Versteht by the times of Rishonim, their tfisa and their understanding of the subject matter was so clear that when we try to understand the Rishon, we have to break our heads and dig deeper and start making chakiras and tudinim and getting involved in it even more deep, and then we can understand what they're saying. So so Rabbi Chaim was explaining the Rambam. The Rambam didn't need an explanation. It was much clearer. It was clear up to the front. This is the same thing. And the same
Who won
thing.
the argument?
Huh? Anyways, it's the same idea with Torah Kabbalah, that things are coming out today because there's some kind of need. Even the Musar is all based. The whole Musar, today's Musar is Beli Dessler and Hutner, and the Machshava is based on Kabbalah. And Hasidus is based on Kabbalah. Whether they learn Kabbalah or not, it's based on Kabbalah. So the entire world was almost taken over by a lot of this Kabbalistic areas. So it's out in the open. Even if we don't mamish go and learn Kabbalah, but it's out there in the open today, which wasn't there before. The world, the world evolves until we get things come more. So I'd just like to go through. We don't have much time here. I'd just like to go through a little. It's a fascinating Gemara. It's a Gemara. The Gemara is on Daf Lamed Gimel and Shabbos. It's on our B-Omer. Daf Lamed Gimel and Shabbos. The Gemara of Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Shimon was sitting. Rabbi Yehuda Bar Ilai, Rabbi Yossi, and Rabbi Shimon is Rabbi Shimon Yochai. They were sitting and learning. Rabbi Yosef Yehuda ben Garam Rabbi, who is sitting next to them. Now, Pasach Rabbi Yehuda v'Yom Rabbi Yehuda Bar Ilai, he said, "Kamanoim ma'asim shel umma zu." Talking about the Romans, how great, how wonderful. Rabbi Yehuda ben Garam was good with the Romans. He was all the more secular side. So he said, how nice is the actions of the Romans. Look, they built beautiful bathhouses. They built different things that we could use. So Reb Shimon ben Yochai didn't stand for it. He said, "Kol mashe tiknu lo tiknu atzmam tiknu." They did it for themselves. They didn't have us in mind. They did it for their own good. We're just benefiting by it. Okay? So Reb Shimon ben Yochai. So Holach Yehuda ben Garam received the Vayim. He said it over, and it was heard to the Malchus. So they paskin Shimon Shagina Shimon ben Yochai, that was Megana the Romans. He has to be Yerig. So forth, Yehuda Bar Ilai became the Rosh Madabim, and Rabbi Yossi was quiet. The Gemara says, if you look at. So More says like this. So Azal hu brei, his son went, Toshu bei Midrasha, they hid in the Beis Medrash, and then they hid in the Marosa. They hid in the cave. This cave, according to Meti, was the same cave that Moshe Rabbeinu went by the Nikras Atzur, the same cave that Eliyahu hid in from Achav. Some say it's the same cave, but they went and hid in the cave. Now, in that cave, so first of all, they had a charuva, a charuv tree. Carib, so, you know, the charuvim we get on Tu B'Shvat, except we get the hard ones that you can't bite, but they had the real ones. Now, the charuv, the Gemara says like this, the Gemara says that Chanina B'ni, B'Shviloi, the whole world has Panosa, because of Chanina B'ni. Chanina B'ni, Dailoi, B'Kav, of Charuvin. In other words, that's what he ate. He ate Charuv. That's all he ate all week, was a kav, a certain measurement of Charuvin. So Charuv represents a stopkus, so, you know, being just having just what you need and not more. That's what they had, just what they needed and not more. They had that. And the Einu Demayan, they had a spring. They took off their clothing, and they sat until the next in sand. So that's how they lived for a number of years there, under the sand.
That's where they could have their clothes for davening.
They were covered by sand. They didn't need that.
Their clothes they used for davening.
That's what it says? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it says that. It says that they didn't wear their clothing because other Marishan Karim Machetzit did his clothing. Who knows? Anyways, they sat there in the sand. Kul Yomer Garsi. Oh, it says, you're right. B'idon Tzluya, when they daven, love Shul Mechsayu, they covered themselves with Matzli, B'hadim Meshachim, they took it off, Kech Livlu. They shouldn't get ruined, they call it.
That's what they did.
Yeah. Isra traces the Shnei B'Maisa, 12 years, Osel Yo, and says that the Meis Kisa, bottle, the Gzeir is off, they could come out. Nafku, they went out, Chazu Inish to Karvi, they saw a person was Chayrish, plowing, yeah. So Zara planting. Manichem Chai, how could they do such a thing? Manichem Chai Oilam, Roiskim Chai Shah. Rashi says, what's Pshat? How could they do such a thing? There's plenty of non-Jews around to plow the field and do the things. They should be spending time in Torah. So Kol Makashen say name Yan Nisaf me Rov Kedushasam. From Rov Kedushasam, everything got burnt. Yotza Baskel, you came out to destroy my world. They went back in for 12 years, 12 months, which is the 12 months of Mishnah B'Sharm, and then they came out, and whatever Rabbi Loza looked and got destroyed, Rabbi Shimon looked and it got cured. So Rabbi Shimon said, "B'ni, dai lo oilo manivat. Don't worry about the Torah in the world. It's enough our learning for the world of Torah." It was Erev Shabbos, and they saw a person who was holding two hadasim, so they have two hadasim Erev Shabbos. The flowers go to Suz, they have hadasim. Two hadasim, and he said, "Why do you have two? Erev Shabbos, one for Zochah, one for Shomer." What a Gemara! First of all, they learned 12 years in the Maira. Obviously, we know they learned the entire. They learned the entire Chochmos HaKabbalah was based on that. And that's a shmuz by itself. But they learned 12 years, and then they come out, oitzim kedushasam. Anything that looked like got burnt. Now let's understand this. What's pshat? If you want to get a picture, of Shimon Yochai, you can read go through the Bar Yochai that you sing on Lag B-Omer. It's just that it says Nasa Onim Bavurech. He was the man that Hashem had in mind when He created the world, that we should create a man. The whole world could die for one man. That was him. If we want to have that man, it was Shimon Yochai. So Rav Shimon Yochai Shita we know in the Gemara in Brachas. We know Rav Shimon Yochai had a machlokes with Bishmal, famous machlokes. Rav Shimon Yochai held that if you're doing oisin mitzayna shel makayim, so you shouldn't work. You should spend time learning. And malachtim nasasai de'achayim. So Rav Shimon Yochai Shita in the Gemara in Brachas. Rabbi Shmuel argues, and Rabbi Shmuel says that you can't do that. You have to do both. Hanag b'em derech eretz, you have to work and learn both of them. That's Rabbi Shmuel sheet. So machlokes Rabbi Shimon, same Rabbi Shimon Yochai and Rabbi Shmuel. So Rabbi Shimon held that you have to learn, and the malach nas de'acherim. Moshe says Harbu also Rabbi Shimon v'lo yosef v'yadim. They weren't able to. and Harbos Shmuel, and also beyond they were able to. So in other words, Rav Shimon is the ultimate madrega, which is learn, and Rav Shmuel it's not possible. Rav Shimon says, well, it's not possible to do both. It's not possible to learn and work. You have to just do one, and then the other. That's the machlokes in brachas, machlokes of Shimon, and so Rav Shimon Yechoyes l'shitosai. The essence of man, the total, the target that he was holding on was, the Gemara says of Shimon Yechai. You see all the Gemara. You see, the Gemara says in brachas. The Gemara says of Shimon Yechai was not mechuyev to daven Shemon Esrei. Right? The Gemara says, why not? The Gemara says, Kegoyin Rav Shimon Yechai v'chavera and his chavra, that they don't have to say Shemon Esrei because the menichem chaye olam, which is Torah, and oiskim chaye shah. Tefillah is for parnasa. Tefillah is for Mazeh. So they're Isaac and Torah, they're not mechuyev to. No, nobody today is holding by that. That they don't have to daven; they could go straight without davening. Mechuyev daven. But Shimon Yechai he practiced what he preached. He was holding by that. That he was someone that in his view.
But that's only true of the middle brachas.
No, the whole thing, everything, the whole.
No, but they're not all requests.
So it's called for Chaya Olam. It's called for Chaya Shah. It's necessary for this world. It's necessary for next world also, because you have to daven in order to mispal to Rebbe Shalom to understand the Torah too.
He was there already.
Yeah.
No, but part of it is praise of God. Part of it is the praise of God.
Yeah, but that's all for that purpose. You praise the Melech and what you ask him for a request.
What you need.
So that's what the Gemara says. So if Shimon Yechai came out of the Myra, and he was a person, he was 12 years in the Myra. He didn't have any panosa. There was a nace that happened, took care of him. He had the Mayan, he had his Charuvin, and that was it. So from the Oitzim Kedusha, everything else wasn't holding up to his standards. It wasn't holding up. The world was not holding up. He looked around. Miyad Nisrif. Everything was getting burnt from his Oitzim Kedusha. He had to go back another 12 years. He had to go back another 12 months. 12 months, another year. He went back and he came out. And he says, the world has the Torah. He wasn't being a Balgaiva. He was just saying that Aniva Ata, this Torah in the world, the other people could come on their Madrega, could go up on their Madrega. The Chaviv and Mitzvahs, the Mechabav the Mitzvahs, are their Madrega. But we have to get a picture. Sometimes we don't have a proper picture of who these people were. You understand? We're talking about the Kamat Malchai. Shimon Yechai. He was the Talmud of Rabbi Akiva, and he was holding on such a level that the entire world could die just for his purposes, and just for his learning, and that is the ultimate purpose of the world, is to have a person that could sit and learn without a hefsek. So that's unbelievable. That is obviously not most of us aren't holding anyone in there, but just to get a picture of who Rav Shimon Yechai was. So if you look in Kriya Shema, if you look in Kriya Shema, so you'll see in the first parsha of Kriya Shema, we have to bench this time already. But the first parsha of Kriya Shema, it doesn't say. It says B'chol Nafshcha. It says B'chol Vav B'chol Nafshcha B'chol Miyadecha. Miyadecha means B'chol Amoincha. The first parsha of Kriya Shema, you have to serve Hashem with all your money. The second parsha of Kriya Shema says B'chol Vav B'chol Nafshcha. It doesn't say B'chol Miyadecha. The second parsha says V'asafta Degonecha. You will gather your grains. Tosfos says it's talking about those that are not oisin Ritzoynei Shel Makom, because if you're doing Ritzoynei Shel Makom, you're like Rav Shimon ben Yechai, you don't have to work, as the Tosfos says. How could you say it's talking about someone who's not doing Ritzoynei Shel Makom? It's talking about Vasavta Ganecha. It's a bracha to those that are doing. If you have Hayim Shemoyah Tishma, you listen to Vashalom, Vasavta Ganecha. So the Brisker Rav says, you're right. You're right. According to what we're holding, this is what you're supposed to be doing. But you always have to know the ultimate yichud, the ultimate Shema Yisrael, the ultimate yichud is someone that gives up his entire moment, his entire panasa, his entire, they say Rabbi Lozman Padas, he was a tremendous gevir. He gave up his entire, Rabbi Lozman Ben Hurkadis, I'm sorry, he gave his entire wealth just to go and that's the ultimate. That's the ultimate. For the rest of Klal Yisrael, Vayam Tishmu is b'chol vavchol b'chol moedechem. That already we're not requiring of you, we're not requiring. It's enough to do what we can do, and be a safta deganecha, and be able to serve the Bershom that way. And that's the world which we have, and it comes out that we have the rest of Klal Yisrael zusammen, Chavivim Yisrael, that they mechaves ha-mitzvahs, get to Adasim for Shabbos and mechaves the mitzvahs. This is a tremendous target for where Klal Yisrael is, but that's you have to appreciate what you're doing in Chayes.